And then provide sufficient financial support to the National Industry Training Boards or the NITBs. Currently po parang 100,000 yung allocated per board, but this is inadequate given the technical scope of work, which includes leading in training regulations review, skills mapping, and industry consultations. We in PBED, we believe that a well-funded and coordinated network of industry boards and technical panels will enable the Philippines to build an agile, industry-driven skills ecosystem that links education to training and quality jobs. In conclusion, Mr. Chair, Honorable Senator, next slide please. The 2026 national budget is a pivotal moment for the education sector. By allocating our resources effectively in classrooms, in expanding equitable access through vouchers, strengthening teacher development through TEC, and institutionalizing transparency and accountability, the government can take decisive steps towards a more resilient, inclusive, and high-quality education system. PBED respectfully calls for the Senate the Philippines to consider these recommendations in the finalization of the 2026 General Appropriations Act and to continue working closely with education stakeholders in realizing the right of every Filipino learner to quality education. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity.
We agree to improve the budget of yung TEC. In fact, I'm in close coordination with Dr. Jeannie Hoxon. So I do agree that we need to put some amounts for the scholarship, teacher scholarship. It was during my tenure when we passed that law. So the scholarship is meant to encourage more mga top of their class students to go into the teaching profession, as well as produce more specialized teachers, diba? Yung mga, let's say, sa math, early childhood education, science, so yun yung objective nun. Pinapakuha ko lang yung budget for itong sa TESDA, itong Discipline and Sector Skills Councils and National Industry Boards. Proposal. Yeah, they have a proposal of 153 million to, yung ba dalawa yun? Okay. Yeah, to establish itong Discipline and Sector Skills Council and National Industry Boards, no? Which I agree also, because this is the only way we can improve yung enterprise-based training. We're pushing TESDA, and si Secretary Kiko comes from the EDCOM, so alam niya rin to. So we're pushing TESDA to increase the scholarship for EBTs in enterprise-based training. Kasi ang employment rate nun is close to 100%. Ibig sabihin, pag tinrain siya ng industry, may trabaho siya kaagad. No? Some of the industry want subsidy, share tayo ng gobyerno. Like, for example, yung sa BPOs, they want IBPAP, gusto nila 50-50 with government. The others naman, hindi naman kailangan, no? Depending on the depending on the industry. But I do agree that one is we need to increase. Ang mataas kasi doon is yung community-based training. Ito yung mga, importante rin siya, but the employment rate or livelihood na pinapasukan is medyo spotty, hindi masyadong consistent. No? Ito yung mga tinetrain natin, maging nagmamassage, nagtitrain natin magluto ng siomay, mga ganon. So, kailangan rin, but the employment rate on EBT is higher. So, yun ang gusto natin i-fund. Alright. Next will be Mr. Brian Gonzalez of goodgovernment.ph.
Mr. Chair, Senator Gatchalian, members of the Senate Committee on Finance, the Committee Secretariat, friends from civil society, good afternoon. GoodGov.ph is a national youth-led network of good governance advocates in the Philippines. Our organization is specifically dedicated to the pillars of policy advocacy, education, community building, and civic engagement. We are also a new entrant in the budget advocacy, recognizing that the national budget is the best expression of our development aspirations. Our organization would like to thank the Senate Committee on Finance for inviting young people to participate in its public hearing with civil society organizations on the national budget process. While we were not able to come up with a PowerPoint presentation, we hope to submit a comprehensive policy proposal after this hearing. The youth have a huge stake in the outcome of the national budget process, as young people comprise a significant segment of the electorate and the labor force. From debt servicing to the delivery of basic social services and public infrastructure, our national budget will sit on the shoulders of the youth, who are authors, partners, and beneficiaries of national development. With that in mind, GoodGov.ph welcomes the Senate's ongoing efforts in making budget legislation more transparent, accountable, and participatory. As one of the first civil society organizations to be accredited by the House of Representatives to observe its deliberations on the national budget, our organization, along with several other groups advocating for youth development, participated in several House committee and plenary hearings on the national budget. As we extend the same commitment to the Senate and reflect on our recent experience at the Batasang Pambansa, GoodGov.ph joins our friends and colleagues in civil society in submitting the following recommendations to the Senate for its consideration. That the Senate Committee on Finance invite civil society organizations, including youth-led and youth-serving groups, as resource persons in its deliberations on the annual national budget without prejudice to their juridical personality. That the same committee establish mechanisms for gathering and processing feedback from civil society organizations, including but not limited to online messaging channels and regular town halls and check-ins with CSOs. Unfortunately, parang twice na ata nagkaroon ng meeting between CSOs and the Committee on Appropriations sa House of Representatives. That the schedules of all committee and subcommittee hearings of the same committee be disclosed to the public in a timely manner, since at times, actually frequently, late na po na-disclose sa amin ang schedule ng mga committee hearings, especially yung pinaka-recent po na mga budget amendment review subcommittee hearings. Also, that the Senate ensure the full implementation of Senate Concurrent Resolution Number 4 by publishing all budget-related documents in a timely manner and in a comprehensive and machine-readable format. That the Senate work with the House of Representatives in opening up Congress's bicameral conference committee hearings on the national budget. That the Senate work closely with civil society organizations in capacitating national and local groups towards meaningful participation in the national budget process and promoting public awareness on the said process. Actually, maganda nga rin po na ma-raise dito yung mga innovations na nakikita rin po natin sa iba't-ibang mga universities, mga research universities na ginagamit na po ang artificial intelligence. Kasama na po dyan ang aking alma mater po, ang NCPAG, na meron na pong mga introduce na AI interventions para po makrunch ang data po from the national budget. The institutionalization of these reforms through amendments to the rules of the Senate or via legislation will be crucial to their sustainability. GoodGov.ph would like to express its support for Senate Bills number 32, 537, 804, and 1102, which seek to institutionalize the participation of civil society organizations in the preparation and authorization process of the annual national budget and provide effective mechanisms, therefore, as well as Senate Joint Resolution number 1, which hopes to ensure transparency and accountability in the conduct of all bicameral conference committee hearings. The Senate can also maximize its membership in the National Steering Committee of the Philippine Open Government Partnership, institutionalized through Executive Order number 31, Series of 2023, to access technical assistance and foster multi-sectoral support for the said reforms. As a platform chaired by the Department of Budget and Management and engaged by multiple national government agencies, hundreds of local government units, and thousands of civil society organizations, and given the DBM's ongoing efforts to promote open budgeting and procurement, the PHOGP can provide the much-needed impetus for civil society participation in all stages of the national budget process and involve all national government agencies. As to our proposed budgetary priorities, GoodGov.ph agrees with the Development Budget Coordination Committee that the national budget for fiscal year 2026 ought to prioritize human capital development by boosting investments in education, health, and workforce upskilling. As one of the biggest stakeholders of the education sector and the labor force, the interest and welfare of young people must lie at the heart of our national development strategies and interventions. We are one with our friends from the education sector in urging Congress to ensure that the upcoming budget for education will comply with the provisions of the 1987 Constitution and meet global education benchmarks. Sustained support for youth employment programs, from the special program for employment of students to the government internship program for young workers and professionals, the very products of our education system, as well as young people coming from beneficiary households of our various financial aid and social protection programs, is likewise crucial. GoodGov.ph would also like to take this opportunity to stress the importance of locating the civic dimensions of youth development within the broader framework of human capital development. The economic productivity and social welfare of the youth and their civic engagement are complementary, but much has yet to be done for this nexus to achieve its full potential for national development. Legislation, including the national budget, congressional oversight, and agency-level reforms would be good places to start. For one, GoodGov.ph would like to urge Congress to thoroughly assess the youth development programs of the National Youth Commission. For fiscal year 2024, the said agency was reported to have underutilized its budget, having disbursed only 86.3% of its budget, though it received a very satisfactory mark in the latest annual performance review of the Department of Budget and Management. Interior and Local Government Secretary John Vic Remulla explained that this was due to supposed quote-unquote excesses in their budget allocation, mostly originating from amendments in the General Appropriations Bill. Our organization would like to argue that such quote-unquote excesses could have been devoted to various youth development programs, including but not limited to social accountability mechanisms aimed at ensuring transparency and accountability among sangguniang kabataan officials, such as the Seal of Good Youth Governance and third-party monitoring, and interventions geared towards strengthening our local youth development councils. These are well within the policymaking mandate of the Commission, as these best practices co-developed by youth organizations, national government agencies, and local government units support the implementation of Republic Acts number 8044 and 10742. Furthermore, existing programs under the NYC, such as the Youth Organization Registration Program, can be used to facilitate the participation of registered youth-led and youth-serving organizations in the preparation of the said agency's proposed budget. Such intervention would not only ensure that the agency's budget is fully utilized and its impact more attuned to the actual needs of the Filipino youth, this would also introduce our youth-led and youth-serving organizations to the national budget process, paving the way for the meaningful participation of young people in their government's proposed budget. Lastly, GoodGov.ph hopes that Congress, through legislation, including the national budget, or through its oversight, can help facilitate the strengthening of our civic education curriculum. Aside from reviewing our existing curricular program and integrating therein people's participation, social accountability, and anti-corruption, extracurricular programs and volunteer opportunities are crucial to learner appreciation and practice of civic engagement. This would entail a thorough review of lesson delivery, instructor capacity, and the impact of existing citizen mobilization programs such as the National Service Training Program and the volunteer programs at the Philippine National Volunteer Service Coordinating Agency. Our organization is confident in the support of the Senate Committee on Finance for genuine youth participation in the national budget process and the broader universe of political decision-making in the country. Deliberations on the national budget speak to the future, and though young people comprise around 30 to 40% of the population, we are 100% of that future. Maraming salamat po.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Gonzales. Next will be Move as One, represented by Ms. Mary Grace Modales.
Magandang hapon po, Mr. Chair, Senator Gatchalian, and colleagues from the civil society. Ako po si Abigail. Ako po ang Budget and Policy Research Co-Lead ng Move as One Coalition. Next slide po. We are a community of over 142 organizations that advocate for a safer, more inclusive, and more people-centered transportation system in the Philippines. Kami po ay binubuo ng urban planners, transportation economists, mga pedestrian, commuter, mga siklista, kababaihan, persons with disabilities, senior citizens, at iba pang sektor na gumagamit ng ating mga kalsada. Next slide po. Ito po yung ilan sa aming mga orgs na kabilang sa Move as One. Mr. Chair, the basis of our budget proposal today is simple and urgent. Nakamamatay po at hindi makatao ang ating mga kalsada. Our Our streets bring both imminent and slow death. Imminent po because our infrastructure is designed to prioritize vehicle speed over people's welfare. Taon-taon na lamang po, libo-libong mga Pilipino ang namamatay o nai-injure sa ating mga kalsada that were never built with their safety in mind. According to WHO, road traffic injuries are the leading cause of death among Filipinos aged 15 to 29 and one of the top killers of children. Slow death naman po dahil our streets rob Filipinos of time to live. Every day, millions of Filipinos spend hours trapped in traffic or waiting for rides. I can attest to it. Usually po, 2 o 3 oras po ako maghihintay. Ito po ay oras na nananakaw na sana inagagamit para makasama ang pamilya, makapagpahinga, makatulog ng 8 hours o higit pa, makapag-aral o kaya ay kumita ng extra. Noong 2018, ayon sa isang JICA study, 3.5 billion pesos po ang nawawala sa atin dahil sa traffic congestion.